Hey everyone, Morgan here. So we're going to do an answer key for chemical formulas and nomenclature, number 1, okay? And I want to take some time on this one and really make sure that you all know what's going on. So hunker down, get your periodic table handy and your flashcards because polyatomic ions will be involved. We're going to start off with binary compounds. And these are pretty straightforward. All you need to know is the names of the elements from the periodic table. Don't memorize them. Periodic table will always be hanging in the classroom, so don't worry about that. NaCl is simply sodium chloride. Sodium chloride. That ends in IDE, not ene. It's not chlorine. It's sodium chloride. This is sodium fluoride. It ends in IDE. D is in dog. D is in delta. Okay? Now, also, let's take note. FLUORIDE. Fluoride. Not flouride. Not FLOUR. Okay, not the stuff from the kitchen cabinet. This is fluoride. Potassium. Iodide. Lithium. Bromide. Magnesium. Chloride. Okay. Aluminum, or if you're from Great Britain, aluminium chloride. Here, calcium, fluoride, beryllium, chloride. Sodium, oxide, and lithium, sulfide. All right, so looking at all those, a couple things to notice. They all have the non-metal ending in IDE. Every single time, the non-metal ends in IDE. And every single time, what you're noticing is the first element, which is the metal, doesn't change its name at all. It stays the same. Okay? The metals that I chose for all of these were main group elements. They weren't transition metals, so I didn't need to include any Roman numerals for the charges. Okay, so now let's go on to some compounds that have polyatomic ions, and there's something that you should be doing here that I think will really help. When you see the word sulfate here, the name sulfate, write out the formula, SO42 minus just above it. Magnesium, go to your periodic table, locate it in the second column, write out the charge, and just like on the formula writing grid, put them together like that. Thiocyanate, SCN minus, locate sodium on the periodic table, it's in the first column, go Na plus, they come together in a 1-to-1 ratio. Let me rewrite that a little clearer. NaSCN. Sorry. Okay. Hydroxide, write it out here. OH minus. Find barium. It's in the second column, so it's a 2 plus. So that means this is going to be Ba parentheses OH parentheses 2. Okay. Hydroxide again. OH minus. Okay. Sodium, first column, Na+, NaOH. Hydroxide again. Lithium also in group 1, +1, so it's LiOH. Now we got phosphate, PO4 3-. Aluminum's in the 3+ column. Put those together, AlPO4. Perchlorate, ClO4-. By now, you're probably realizing that if you have memorized your polyatomic ions, this homework would be a lot easier. Hydrogen's in group 1, so it's a +1. HClO4. Hydroxide, OH-, ammonium, NH4+, NH4OH. Sulfate, SO4 2-, ammonium, NH4+. We need 2 of those. So I'm going to use parentheses, NH4, parentheses 2, SO4. Phosphate again, PO4 3-, okay. Ammonium again, NH4+, okay. So I need parentheses, NH4, close parentheses, 3, PO4. Okay? Now, a little bit easier this way. I've got a calcium, I've got nitrate, that's CaLCium, calcium, nitrate. Sodium, and that's the oxalate ion. Sodium, oxalate. Sodium, and that is hydrogen carbonate. Although if you asked your grandparents for help with this, they would probably tell you that that's called bicarbonate. Okay? That's an older name for it. I'll give you credit for that. That's okay. Calcium, phosphate. Sodium, and that is borohydride. Sodium, carbonate. No hydrogen involved this time. Magnesium, nitrite. Ammonium, sulfite. Ammonium, phosphite. And sodium, hydroxide. Okay? So I'm going to leave that there on screen for a moment for you. Pause if necessary. I'm going to go back up to part 1 again, leave it on screen. Pause as necessary. Okay, we're going to move on to page number 2. Sorry if we're having a little bit of background noise here today, but my four-legged friend here is visiting, and he seems somewhat interested in being involved in today's lesson. Okay, so now the game changes. Transition metals. And because we have transition metals involved, it is our job to identify the charge on the transition metal with a Roman numeral. Now, in this first set here, we're being given the names with that transition metal and its charge. Actually, I think that makes life easier. If it says iron 2 carbonate, that says the Fe is a 2 plus. I don't have to look anything up. Carbonate is CO3 2 minus. They come together as FeCO3. That's a capital O. Sorry, I have terrible handwriting. It's one of my flaws. I'm very willing to admit it. Copper 2 is Cu2 plus. The chromate is CrO4 with a 2 minus. Gotta know my polyatomics. CuCrO4. Silver 1 nitrate, Ag plus. Nitrate is NO3 minus, AgNO3. Lead 2 nitrate, Pb is a 2 plus. The symbol for lead comes from its Latin name, plumbum. Nitrate, NO3 minus, so that is Pb, NO3 sub 2. Zinc 2 nitrate, Zn 2 plus. Nitrate is NO3 minus, Zn, NO3 sub 2. Chromium 3 sulfate, Cr is a 3 plus, Roman numeral 3. The sulfate is an SO4 2 minus. This is one of the situations where that's coming over this way, that's coming over that way, okay? So Cr2, parentheses, SO4, parentheses, 3. Iron 3 dichromate. So Fe 3 plus, dichromate, Cr2O7 2 minus. So we get Fe, the 2 comes over, the 3 comes over, so that's Fe2, parentheses, Cr2O7, parentheses, 3. Copper 2, Cu2 plus, sulfate, SO4 2 minus, Cu, let's write that over for you, CuSO4, copper 2 phosphate, cobalt 2 phosphate, CO with a 2 plus, the phosphate is a PO4 3 minus, so that'll go that way, that'll go that way, okay, and what will happen is we'll get CO3 parentheses PO4 parentheses 2, gold 3, AU3 plus, acetate C2H3O2 with minus, so we get AU parentheses C2H3O2 parentheses 3. Okay, leave that there for you for a second. Pause if you need to. Okay, now, over here, I'm going to have to do some dissecting. Permanganate. MnO4 is a -1. That means this copper must be a +1. So that's copper, COPPER, 1 permanganate. Okay? Cyanide. Recognize your polyatomic ions. It's a -1. That means the silver must be a +1. Silver, 1 cyanide. I see a nitrate, NO3 minus. Now, there happens to be 3 of them. So that nickel must be a 3 plus. Nickel, 3 nitrate. Cl minus, monoatomic ion. There's two of them. So that means the mercury must be a 2 plus. This is mercury 2 chloride. Now these are like V2O3. You know, I know this O is a 2 minus. This is one of these things where it's pretty easy to recognize the charge is just swapped over. So I've got vanadium 3 oxide. Thiocyanate ion. So a 1-to-1 ratio with the copper, so the copper must be a +1. Copper 1 thiocyanate. Tough one to spell. Br is a minus. There's 3 of them, so the gold must be a 3 plus. Gold 3 bromide. Cl, there's a minus. There's 2 of them, so that zinc must be a 2 plus. Zinc 2 chloride. I got to tell you, folks, it really pays off to write this out like this, to separate them out. That was the point of formula writing grid number 3. Okay? Kind of practice doing that. Phosphate, PO4 3 minus. So this cobalt must be a 3 plus. COBALT, cobalt 3. Phosphate. Oxalate, C2O4 2 minus. Okay, so Zn, that is a 2 plus. Zinc 2 oxalate. All right. Now, to the really easy ones, the covalent ones. All right. Carbon dioxide. I have to use the prefixes now because there are no charges involved. The charges up here told me how many of the ions to put together. Here I don't have that. CO is carbon monoxide. Okay, so here's the rule. Mono as a prefix is used for the second element when there's only one atom present. But it's not used for the first element when there's only one atom present. Strange, but it's the rule. Nitrogen dioxide, dinitrogen monoxide, dinitrogen pentoxide. Okay. Now over here, di is 2, tetra is 4, so that's N2O4. Sulfur dioxide would be SO2. Sulfur trioxide would be SO3. Dihydrogen monoxide is what you call water. And diphosphorus tetroxide is P2O4. So, let me just park this right here for a moment so you can pause and double check part 3. Pause if necessary. And now let me park this down here so you can check out on part 4. Pause if necessary. Okay, there you go, folks. That is chemical names and formulas number 1. Have yourselves a great day. This is Morgan signing off.